Dude says.
Folks, welcome to another episode of How Gets It?
How you get this?
We're going to start this episode with one of the greatest videos to ever be digitized.
I bet you I already started this episode before you even start this.
Don't do it. Start it right where I say start it.
Now people are going to be wondering what happened before.
Yeah, what happened before was we were playing some cyber porn.
Ooh,
I don't know, but all these buttons are weird.
What do you mean?
My camera switch buttons.
Choices.
What are you talking
I
about?
have to be able to do it in my sleep, and they're different than they usually are.
Oh, I should have been up here fucking 10:45 to make them.
I was too busy watching this video.
I know. Here comes the video. I was watching this on my tillet.
Tristan Hart Pierce, everybody.
Better do those dishes while you cook. Better not let that sink. Better not let that sink.
Shred. Oh, he put the note in there. He put the...
Yeah!
Yes, dude. Savage Garden.
Do your dishes, dude.
You better do those dishes, Jules is a great... I don't
Dishwasher.
even follow trick. God, this is
Jeez,
sad.
dude, you're a jerk.
I am not doing that
Don't
intentionally.
you realize
Tristan
what
Hart Pierce.
your follows do for somebody else's capacity to be a popular person in the world? Jeez Louise.
Tristan Hart Pierce, go give him a follow. He is
the mayor of Kentucky.
the house band for Live at the Lodge. He's the guitar player. Also, Shreddy Nar Pow Pow. This kid...
Shreddy McPherson, dude. He's got so many choices.
Criminy, bro. The kid's got fingers. He's probably one of the greatest sportsmen as well as guitar players I've ever met.
He's a sportsman?
Those are your words, not mine.
You just said it. Jamison. What are you talking about? Yeah, he's talking about doing your dishes. I heard you start complimenting me on my dish skills.
Dude, you are a great dishy. You're a very wonderful house guest. I'm gonna miss you thoroughly, and you are always down to throw your hand into the dishware.
Dude, I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I just feel like it's one of those courtesy moves. You gotta just especially when people cook for you. I lived in a house with you. I don't know if you lived there quite yet. Back in 2009 or something, and it was like a house of 5, 6, 7 people, and they would always make family dinners every night. And I moved out of my then girlfriend's house. We broke up, and I was living there, and I didn't have a place to stay besides there, so I wasn't paying rent or anything. I was like, dude, I'll just do the dishes every time.
Yeah,
which was hard because they made a lot of dishes, as do you. So
when I cook, I'm terrible at distribution. Ooh, here's a new word.
Yeah.
Distribution.
Distribution.
Yeah,
hard to say.
use all of them because I am not good at timing out things. Although last night, oh my goodness.
What happened?
Let's see if we can feature this video. We made a chicken sandwich that was
yeah, dude, that thing was
hi-fi.
nice
I want to show
choice.
Stevie Baby.
Just search Taz, dude.
Was it on her Ishi or was it on
I think
Tara?
probably just Tara.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see.
Just
If we
search
can
your
find
name.
it.
Do you
I already
not
looked
follow
at it
her
though.
either?
No, I
mean you
follow
already
my
looked at it?
wife, you Quans. I do think it is a.
Quans.
Look at Boo Boo Duty.
Oh, boo dude.
He's just fast asleep, dude.
Good old
That was
little
Steve.
Tintin.
That was Steve 6 minutes ago.
Yeah. That's Steve right now.
All right, let's see if we can. Okay, yeah, can't stop watching this. Now I think the next one is our chicken sangu.
Oh.
What? There's no audio.
Come on, dude. Play it back.
What you got there, Al?
Chicken sandwich.
A little arugula salad on top. Nice.
Whenever you feel like
Hold up, dude. Listen, look at Julian's fucking.
I had a couple
Blue
of tequila shots
steel.
last night, dude. I was
Well, look at him go for this
rip
blue steel right here, folks. Check this out.
corn chips.
Look what you guys did. Yummy, yummy. What you got there,
That
Al?
looks good.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
A little
Look at
arugula
here it
salad
comes.
on
Look
top.
at
Nice.
Jules is looking down the barrel.
Always trying to look hot, dude. That's why I got my frosted tips, dude. Trying to look hot.
All you babes out there.
All you babes out there, call me up 218-896-298.
You babes out
Call me up 6611-899-2345-9918. I got so many, dude.
425-218-4243.
Kneecaps.
Hit him up, dude. Hit him up, bro. See if you want to be on the podcast, hit Jules up.
Yeah, seriously.
425-218-4243.
Don't worry, I'll just put a little piece underneath this episode to ensure that I start getting calls. Because if I don't get any calls from this,
You're gonna be so
I'm going to be
sad.
feeling like a real fail
so
year.
sad.
Woof, dude. How are you still getting calls from texts from the text line of the Valentine's Day shout out?
Those ended. I was wondering, like, did I make friends with anybody off of that? Because typically people will text me, and then I'll like respond.
You're like, where are you going, Jules? I don't know. This guy randomly texted me. I'm going over to his family get together.
Yeah, I didn't respond for a couple days, but then I did, and then I had long not long, but like longer than not at all conversations with people. And I was like, did I make any friends? Did I save any of those numbers as actual names? I don't think I did. There was nobody.
Riveting.
You asked the question, Dwayne.
Yeah, I used to go into I still do go into bathrooms in public places, but it's been less now that I haven't been on the road.
Mm-hmm.
For a while there was like somebody tagging, like the same number for a good time. Call this number.
You called him?
No, I never called him, but I'm always curious. One, what that man's experience is, like who the number is,
mm-hmm.
and how frequently he gets called.
Yeah.
It's kind of like leaving a Yelp review, sort of like, I'm glad that they exist, but I would never leave one. I'm not glad that the number on the bathroom exists. This is different. I'm switching subjects here. I'm glad that Yelp reviews and Amazon reviews exist, so that I can know, so I can check them and be like, oh, well, I've eaten at so many killer restaurants because of Yelp.
Yeah.
Like on the road specifically, I have old Gregory Ehrlich taught me like the algorithm.
For Yelp?
For Yelp.
What is that?
I mean, I say algorithm because my name's Alan and there's an Al. No, there's no algorithm. It's just you have to kind of look at what the ratings are for like Arby's and McDonald's in a local area.
Because they're different in different areas?
If Arby's in Charlotte is getting like 4 stars, then you're like, okay, well, I realize that the rating system is a little junky here. But if it's like a 2 or a 3, you know that like a restaurant that's getting 4s is a killing restaurant. Also, the pictures. You can look at the food via the pictures.
But when you're basing it around an Arby's, like all Arby's are the same, aren't they? Or like you getting different Arby's in different states.
Right, but like people who take the time to leave a Yelp review, right? There's it's a specific type of human that is going to go to Arby's and be like, this food is bullshit. But when they go to a really nice restaurant, they're going to leave a 4 or a 5. Very glad that those rating systems exist, but I don't know. I don't know if I know anyone who would take the time to like sit down after a meal and review on Yelp, but I'm glad they exist.
Yeah, I've used Yelp before. Well, that's not true. I mean, I use it all the time. But I never use it. I've never I rarely look at it to like make sure a place is good. I just like see what the place is.
How often do you have bad meals when you eat out?
Well, because I have a pretty lame palate, most of my meals are just satisfying.
We went out for an experience at a restaurant called Debali. Mm-hmm. And
all of us.
It was one of, I think probably because I haven't had very many dining experiences during COVID, like eat out and eat in a restaurant, have somebody come serve you, have a beer. Yeah. And Rudy was being an angel.
Yeah, he was being real sweet.
So other times we've been out, Rudy's just like causing ruckus. He's like, I want chips.
I want chips.
He had Uncle Bluto to punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was being such a little angel. And this restaurant, in a portion of Spokane, shout out to DeBali, Airway Heights. If anybody knows much about Spokane, Airway Heights is like this little.
It's a road to the casino.
Exactly, it's the road to the casino.
All roads lead to the casino.
It's
baby.
like these. It's like these freeway cities that have like a Motel 6.
Yeah, that's what's so weird.
And a Taco Bell because they're by the freeway. That's kind of what Airway Heights is, and it's across the street from Yolks in this like strip mall.
Diamond in the rough.
Dude, and God bless DeBali, and their food is bonkers good, but like the decor is not inviting either. Like I would walk in there and be like, yeah, turning around. I ain't eating here.
Yeah. But the owner was the hostess and server, and
yeah, there's like three people in there. The owner, who is the waiter, the hostess, cashier, she does it all. And then there's 2 cooks. I don't know if they're related. I didn't get to meet the cooks, but dude, this food was like some of the greatest Asian food I've ever had in my life, and I've eaten Asian food in Asia.
Here's an unpopular opinion. I loved that place.
Oh, Christ.
I thought it was really good.
Buckle up, Steve.
I really enjoyed it. But I had a wrap. I literally would have been just as satisfied with a wrap. Like that's the thing. I will go and appreciate good food and good meals. And by no means was I like, oh, this is not good. It was great. But so is anything else that I eat, honestly.
You're stupid, and I'm done talking.
I know. I was saying an unpopular opinion. You like, look, we're on a podcast. I'm trying to give us some things to argue about, you idiots.
Dude, I think like
the food was great.
It was great. I didn't say that it wasn't. Like, there's not one part.
So
of
you're telling me
like,
that dining experience that we had together, that hour and a half that we shared, where like every single plate that came out was immaculate, beautiful, delicious. There was a billion different flavors. That you would put that experience on the same plane as a
Olive Garden
turkey wrap.
I would put honestly, for me, it's more about like experiencing you guys, and like, again, the food was great. I'm not denying that the food was not great. But I could go to a Red Robin with all of you guys and have the same fun and eat a shitty burger and be like, yeah, this is equally as satisfying for me.
Is it rude to tell you that I don't believe you?
No.
I don't believe you. I think you're trying, I think you're just trying to be different.
What do you mean different?
Like, I think you're trying to just like
it's not. It's an unpopular opinion. It's not. I don't think people would be like, I'm not getting respect for this opinion.
No, but you're getting attention.
Yeah, I'm not. Come on, dude. I'm not trying to look for bad attention. I'm not one of those types of people. Steve, am I one of those types of people that just seeks out bad attention because it's attention?
I mean, I'm gonna give you bad all the things from the shit you're talking right now.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying. I don't know how. I'm just saying it because I believe it's. I think it's true. Again,
you're telling me that a Red Robin burger, which shout out to Red Robin burgers, they're pretty good.
Whiskey
Great
River chicken burger, dude. Love those.
Sauce.
Great, the
Steak
regular,
fries.
the Red Robin Royale,
Sauce?
the Red Robin Royale with the egg on it.
That creamy brown sauce, dude. Whatever that is, Red Robin sauce.
Yeah.
Campfire sauce. That's nice. Yeah. I mean, again, dude. I'll say it for the 19th time. That meal was great. Nothing wrong with it. I loved it. I just would have. It wouldn't matter going to an Olive Garden or a Red Lobster or like some gigantic corporate like franchised restaurant.
Let's go on the other side of this. Tell me about a bad dining experience that you've had. If you remember a bad dining experience, you sat down and you're like, this food is actually waste. It's wasteful.
I mean, that my standards probably are so low as it is that like the food would have to be really, really bad.
Right. So tell me where that.
I don't know.
Where
I don't know.
that
I don't know if it ever has. I think the only bad experience that I've ever had is probably surrounding the length of time that the service took. So like, oh my God, we've been here for 2 hours and we haven't gotten our food. We haven't gotten our drink. Like, this is awful service.
I'm curious because it takes, whenever you eat food, you like douse it in so much sauce, and it's usually like hot sauce.
Yeah.
And part of me is curious if you've desensitized your taste buds.
100%.
So have you thought about doing a like cleanse where you just don't eat hot sauce and you like only eat Like, what were your taste buds like when you came out of COVID? Because you lost your taste for like 3 weeks. What was your taste buds like after that? Because you probably didn't eat any hot sauce during that period.
No, I was just having like broccoli, asparagus, blueberry
do you
shakes.
remember do you remember having a different like
Not
your
really.
taste buds
no.
were any different?
No, they didn't change. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like I don't put hot sauce on. Sometimes like there's a meal we just had like that. Oh, well, I put hot sauce on that risotto. But we had a meal at some time ago.
What was it?
I think it was the chicken parm. I didn't put any hot sauce on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes I'm just too
Chicken parm was
lazy.
fire.
Sometimes I'm just too lazy to get the hot sauce. And also I'm just like, oh, I trust that like, and it's not like, oh, I trust that this meal's not going to need it because like other meals are worse or better. Some things just have like, there was spice on that already. I don't know. But yes, my taste buds have been desensitized by probably my overabundant usage of hot sauce. But I don't know. I don't feel the need to like, I don't care that my taste buds are off. I don't care that because I still go to these restaurants and have a good time. I still go to these restaurants and enjoy the food. I just don't need it. Like I could go anywhere and feel just as satisfied.
It's weird. It's wild. It's wild that you can't taste the difference between DeBali and Arby's.
You're misquoting me. I'm
not misquoting you. You're telling me that your
your
experience with a restaurant is based upon the people that you have around you. Great. I completely understand that.
Alan's
I would
mad
have
at me.
I would have a great time going to Arby's with you, Jules, and I think we should actually hit it after this podcast. Let's go get some Arb, baby.
Dude,
I'm
some
trying to get
beefy
that
chetties?
big Montana.
We all just fucking shit our pants and excited.
We get a good hang in there, but there's no human being on this, up in this attic who can honestly tell me that the food at Arby's is the same as the food at the Bali. It's just absurd.
I'm not saying that though.
That is what it sounds like you're saying.
Sure, but you're not hearing me in what I'm actually saying.
Yeah. What?
I wonder if the people that are listening hear me. I always wanted that to happen. Like,
What
I
it
always
sounds
wanted,
like
I always wanted recordings of what like my conversations with people were, like ex-girlfriends or other people that I was having, like recorded, so that other people could hear them and be like, "Yeah, I kind of side with Julian on this one," or the opposite way, like I kind of side with Alan on this one.
Okay,
or I kind of
okay,
side with
we're
Steve.
gonna-
do an ex-girlfriend series, bro.
Oh
Call 'em
yeah.
up.
We can. Well, should we call him right now and get him on the
Call
potty
'em
pod?
up.
Good Lord, no. Let's go back then, and give your initial statement. What you mean by what you said, as clear and precise as you possibly can right now.
Okay. I love going out to dinner.
Yep.
I enjoy good food.
Yep.
I appreciate and respect a 5-star meal. However, there are restaurants that are 2 stars where the food is not as good, that as long as I'm in the same company and having the same experience, minus the quality of food, I'm going to feel just as satisfied in both places. The food is better. I understand that, but it's more of an understanding than it's like a desire.
Your
for me.
your mood's not going to be thrown off by a.
No, not a shitty meal. I'm just gonna be like, great. Like this is satiating me right now. I'm getting full, and like maybe if it food is rarely bad for me unless it's just like a bad meal that I don't necessarily like. Like if I'm having oatmeal for dinner, I'm just like, well, this is lame. I don't want that. I'd prefer something that like I enjoy. But honestly, if like we went to that same exact restaurant and they brought out like, shitty cheeseburgers, big Montanas from Arby's, and they
wanted
brought
a
those,
bagel.
and they brought, I wanted a bagel. If they brought us out everything bagels with Philadelphia cream cheese packets on the side, if they were toasted, I'd be like, this is comparable
Yeah, I feel like
to how I'm going to feel satisfied by walking out of here.
Yeah, and I get your sentiment, which is the
Just trying to be different.
the satiating portion of a meal is the company for me. But
What does that mean?
I think that the point you're attempting to make is what is important to me about gathering are the people and not necessarily the food.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And I would agree with that. But it doesn't mean that I don't believe that they're the same. Being around a table with great company and incredible food versus being around a table with great company and less than incredible food, they're different experiences. Doesn't mean that they're not both awesome, but they're different.
Totally. Our experience would be hindered for you guys if the food wasn't as good, because you guys wouldn't be as satisfied by the experience. So I guess I can amend my statement and say, if I were the only person to receive the meal that sucked, because I don't want it to have to play into any of you. Like, I don't want my experience to have to lend itself to your guys' experience. You guys still get the same exact food. I don't need that to feel exactly the same way that I felt going in there. I could get a shitty meal and be like equally satisfied with the experience.
Well,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's bad food, yes, of course, like everybody's just like, this is bad food. And then the energy is brought down. And then it's just like, well, now we're not having as much fun. When you guys are happy and like eating great food that you're super happy about and you're cheersing with sake and you're,
that's why I'm saying the experience is different.
For everybody else besides me, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as the food goes. So if you guys stay the same, if you guys get what you want, I don't need that.
Yeah.
You could bring me out a Duraflame log and I'd put some ranch on it and be fine.
I just
You don't believe me?
I don't believe you. Yeah.
I don't know what to say then, because I'm just
Agree to disagree. That's fine.
well. You can disagree with me, but it's my own opinion.
I'm just saying, as for as many times as I've eaten with you over the years, your experience when you're eating really good food versus subpar food is a different experience.
I'm not. Yeah, sure. I mean, what do you? Why would I be lying though?
I just, like I said, I think you're just
trying to get attention.
different.
But you've said that to me before in like ways. You're trying to be different. Like, I don't think I seek attention. I seek attention in a lot of ways, but if it's for something that I feel like people are gonna kind of frown upon, I'm not gonna seek out attention because of that.
Bro,
I'm just
you
trying
do
to be
that
honest.
all the time.
What? How?
Steve, back me up here. You're like
I checked
self-deprecating.
out like 20 minutes ago.
You're self-deprecating intentionally as a means to like get people to like you.
Sure, but this conversation isn't about that. Like, self-deprecation is like a tool used by a lot of people to define themselves and to kind of like try to play and be humorous. What I'm doing right now by talking about my dining experience isn't doing that. So like, I don't know why. I'm interested in where you think I would be coming from. Like, like what part of my ego would be pushing this narrative forward, because it doesn't make much sense to me.
Well, I think
unless it's just true.
It doesn't matter either which way.
I know, but we got time, dude. We're just sitting here chatting about stuff. So I'm just curious.
It doesn't matter either which way. I think the perspective that you were sharing was, why would I share this if it wasn't true? Because it's not a likable opinion. It's not a likable perspective. And my rebuttal was, oh, you do that all the time. You share like opinions about yourself that you're like, I'm this, I'm that, that are like unlikable traits. And I think that that's just like a quality. I have that same quality, that I'm self-deprecating in an attempt to connect with other people. Yeah. And so I think that this falls into that same category, whether it's true or not. I disagree that that's the case, but
okay. I mean, I guess I could just be like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm lying. And then I'm just like, cool.
Nobody's winning this argument. So Grammys are coming up, guys.
Did you win one?
Did you get your votes in, Steven?
What?
Yeah.
God damn
Steve's
it.
barely alive. Steve's barely alive.
Steve, put it on yourself and give me a monologue from Legend of Beggar Vance.
What would your acceptance speech be if you were given a Grammy at the, what is it, the
2021, dude?
64th? What is this?
My acceptance speech, if I won a Grammy?
If you won a
Yeah.
Grammy, yep, you're up in front of everybody. Again, Puff Daddy's in the front row.
Damn, dude.
Again,
Good old T Swift and Chance the Rapper. Maybe the guy from Rascal Flats.
yes, the lead singer of Rascal Flatts is
Gary.
sitting right next to P. Diddy.
damn.
Travis Tritt is there, but they gave him like the
no.
third row back because he just hasn't won anything
Memphis
in a long
Bleak.
time. But Meek Mill somehow is running the crane camera. I mean, they got him, so
Yeah.
he's real tight. He's got a tight on you,
The Union?
and you've
The
just
Sea
won.
Union.
You've just won a Grammy, Steve. What do you say?
To quote a quotable, point me to the finger food.
So hard, Mike. This is the best
Okay.
part because I would hope that in that scenario, at the Grammys, like the mic is just on like a stand.
Yeah.
I would hope that Steve would intentionally pull the
Off.
mic out of the
Take
stand
it
after
off.
he does the whole speech with the mic in the stand. Where's the finger foods? Pulls the mic out of the stand, removes it, puts it on the side, and then drops it.
it,
So
yes.
hard,
That's
dude.
so sweet, guys.
Yeah, and then you would get another Grammy. I feel like they should have another award ceremony for a
speeches.
pointless award ceremony for the speeches.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you got a Grammy,
I
but
mean, like
you
TMZ,
also got a
TMZ does that the next day.
You got a
Do
Grampy.
they?
I don't know. Probably. That's all they do, isn't it?
I don't
Just
know.
judge how idiotic and good people are. Let me ask you this: would you go up and are you guys the type of guys that would just like to kind of go up and thank people and kind of give like one of those? It would be weird, right? Like unless you had something written and thoughtful, would you try to go up and say something poignant about like your position in the music industry or as a human being? Would you just go up and kind of like do the standard, like I don't want to make this a big
I would just
moment.
think I
just
would
wanna
go
thank
up.
people.
I would get the Grammy. I would try, especially if it was a man giving me the Grammy. I would try to kiss him.
On the mouth.
Yeah.
Great.
And then
What if it was a girl?
I wouldn't look at her. I'd look down. I'm like, I ain't getting my ass canceled for you.
Just because you're looking at her?
Yeah, you can't do it
I'd
anymore,
kiss her
bro.
too, dude. I'd
It's-
kiss everybody.
No, Jules.
For sure,
Bro,
dude.
you're getting a Grampy the next day.
That's
then,
part of
bro.
my brand, dude. I'm trying to kiss everybody.
I would look down. I would not make eye contact. I would grab the Grammy. I would go up to the mic and I would say, I just want to thank Oprah. And then I would leave.
That would get you canceled.
Why?
I don't know.
Dude, Oprah's a god.
I'm not saying because it's a bad thing to say, because it would be like, it just wouldn't be sincere. Therefore, it would come across in a bad way, and then you'd start getting all sorts of hate speech and hate mail, and the letters to your door from LaShawn.
What's interesting to me about the day and age that we live in is that there's a lot of canceling of people that happens, and a lot of people who are called out for specific behavior, but yet there's these certain humans who manage to, like, all they do is cancel worthy things, like Donald Trump, Kanye West, Tekashi 6ix9ine, like all these, they're just like walking trolls, but they manage to skate that somehow, even though everybody's calling for their cancel, they're still constantly in the news. Everything they do, I don't know about Donald Trump anymore. Nobody's paying attention to him anymore.
Right.
A month after, he just looks like the most hated human alive. Nobody gives a fuck about him anymore. And part of me wonders if it's just because they're like, I don't care, or because they're just so like off-putting and non-PC that you just can't touch them.
Well, they made their career off of being people you want to cancel.
Right.
Their fame is that.
Right. But then, so is me like, if I do something terrible at an acceptance speech, doesn't that cement me as like troll number 5?
No.
I feel like if you're committed to it, like if you're just committed to being off kiltered and like and not kind of not thinking about any, like not concerned with being canceled and just going for it. Like I feel like everybody that does that, like there's a handful of the podcasts that we're listening to that you have on often are these people that kind of speak openly about whatever the fuck they want, that are like things that other people could say if they were a little bit more timid and they'd get canceled. But I think it's just like a matter of conviction really with what you're saying. It's not necessarily that people are going to like it or not, but they're not getting canceled because they're just admitting to their ridiculousness.
What is oh yes, you guys, have you seen this photo?
No.
This is one of the greatest photos ever. Look, put it on the computer, Steve. Look at this fucking photo.
Why is it good?
How is it not good, bro? Kanye West is fast asleep at what is a packed party, and his mother-in-law at the time, no longer mother-in-law, is asleep on his shoulder. That's just, and then I think this is Harden's birthday party, actually. Harden's just like, hey guys, college dropout. That's awesome. I love it.
That must not have been very good finger foods.
Yeah, seriously, there was no red.
They didn't have no Ecuadorian footlongs.
Hey, folks, today our episode is brought to you in part by our good friends at Ladder Coffee. Head to laddercoffee.com and you can order beans directly from the brewer, as well as some of this beautiful cold brew. Locally owned and operated out of Spokane, Washington. Check it out. Ladder Coffee.
I'm jacked!
My birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
And depending on when this airs, it might have already gone, but we've recorded
You'll be 39 by the time this episode is.
I'm trying to think of what my finger food display at a party, like my favorite finger food display would be. Like I like a charcuterie.
Do you?
I do. I love a charcuterie. Taz makes a bananas charcuterie.
Bananas.
Queso's got to be there. Queso's got to make a stop.
The fundites?
Yeah, but I think instead of chip, maybe we have some chips there, but also like some celery.
Don't get all
and carrots
sentimental on me now, dude.
in the queso.
I will not be attending.
So you said celery?
Wait, hey, hold on. I did
not coming.
I said there's chips there, Steven. You can choose to use the chips. These little taco, little quesadillas.
Oh yeah, those little
Never seen any quesadillas on a finger foods chicken wings.
A quesadilla, though, a quesadilla really like can go in a million different directions, can't it? There's like some epic quesadillas, and it can like if you just get like a chicken and cheese quesadilla, it's like all right. But you can get some like real nice ones, and especially like when they got the crispy edges and like some of the burnt cheese coming out of the sides, dude.
Look at JP Gabs over here, like getting excited about food.
I'm just saying those are nice. That's way nicer. I'll still eat it. I'll still eat the chicken and cheese.
But why would you get excited about it if it's just like every other quesadilla?
You've caught me.
There we go.
I'm red-handed. I'm looking for attention, guys. I just want everybody to know that I
don't think you're
I am a narcissistic egomaniac who wants attention for not liking all foods. All right, said it here.
Look at all your crispy edges.
Said it here.
Crispy edges over here.
I just like crisp. Honestly, I just like crispy edges. My
Fingers
grandpa
were going like this, bro.
My grandpa used to make. I can appreciate super good things that I really like. And crispy edges, my grandpa used to make pancakes when I was a kid. And I don't know how he did it because I've tried to recreate it before. But he would like just put a shit ton of butter on the pan. And then they would just get this outline, this circle that was like
on the
just
edge.
crisp.
Yeah.
There'd be blueberries in it too. And it was like, I didn't even want the middle of the pancake. I just wanted to eat around the thing.
Well, that's what's so interesting about cooking. I'm not a good cook by any means, but I have been starting to get into it more. I really love making handhelds. Like I love pretty much anything in between.
God, those chicken burgers last night
slice
were
of
good, dude.
Yeah, they were great, bro. As well as the sandwich I made you for lunch too.
Yeah, that was real good.
I had one fillet of chicken, Steve, left, and both Julian and I wanted a sandwich, and so I cooked the fillet in Is it sambuyo? What's the
Sambal?
Sambal, yeah.
The
spicy,
hot sauce?
yeah, the hot sauce. In sambal, and
Cooked it in that?
yeah, which I shouldn't have done because and this will be a bigger point that I'm getting to, which is heat is so important in cooking, and I'm just starting to get to that, shelf of like, okay, well, I know what I want to cook, I know what I like cooking, and now I'm like, oh shit, like how quickly you heat up garlic versus how quickly you heat up butter, like they both burn at different temperatures, so you have to, and I've never understood that or thought of that up to this point.
Yeah.
But I made this like spicy chicken bacon salad sandwich yesterday, Steve, with mayonnaise and French onion. Sorry, green onion, not French onion. It was fire. It was straight fire. But my point is, there's not really a point there, but it's just an interesting.
I love it when you say your point is, and
Yeah.
then you're like, well, shit, I don't know. You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I rarely have a point.
I know, so don't say your point is.
Well, maybe it's not the actual point. It's just the direction that the point is putting. Like, so, but the direction is like heat is such an interesting aspect of food and cooking that I'm just starting to discover. And the reason why I unfortunately use so many dishes when I cook is because I don't have the food prep situation done or down, right? Like, okay, I need to prep everything, then clean after I've prepped everything. So that's like, I mean, dinner should be a 3-hour process, but we always get home at like 5 and we're trying to eat at 5:30. So I'm like, well, let me just whip something up real quick. And sure enough, the kitchen just looks like in Hiroshima afterwards. It's just an explosion.
Yeah. Steve, you cook a lot, don't you?
Yeah, all the time.
Every day, right?
Every day, yeah.
Damn, you're pretty good, huh?
What would you say, like if Laura were to say, this is Steve's best cuisine, this is what he does best, what is that, you reckon?
I'm definitely really good at prep. I definitely have the mise en place thing. I'm very neat in the kitchen.
What'd you say, mise en place?
Mise en place. It means like everything in its place. Like I know where everything is and it's all prepped and like ready to go. I make what I make best. I don't know. I like making Asian food. Laura likes pastas and cheesy things, which obviously Asian food doesn't really have a lot of. But I make a killer taquito.
Oh yeah, Bray.
And wings.
And you do that in the air fryer, yeah?
I do the taquitos now in the air fryer. I mean, after an 8-hour slow cook. But
So are you doing like a pork slow cook or a barbacoa?
yeah, kind of whatever we're in the mood for. Sometimes it's a roast. Anything but ground beef, pretty much I'll cook with.
I'm not that big of a fan of the ground beef.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we have a whole bunch of ground beef in my freezer downstairs, and I'm like trying to figure out what the heck to do with it besides a cheeseburger.
Right.
And it's, I mean, you could use it in a ragu. You could do like
It has its place, but it's definitely not my first choice.
Yeah, but meatballs maybe.
You have so much ground beef.
So much ground beef. Maybe we should make some meatball subs tonight.
Let's make some meatballs.
Yeah. I'm going to like it the same way as I'm going to like anything you make me do.
I know. I know, dude. That's what's so disappointing as a cook. I'm just like,
it's not
I can't
disappointing.
win.
I still can appreciate it and be like, wow, man, this is... I mean, that chicken sandwich, man, to your credit, was fucking delicious.
Yeah, I
last
had the
night.
crispy edges.
That's what I like,
That
dude.
looks
The
good.
crispy edges, dude. I'm all about them crispy
We're
edges,
just gonna
dude.
take Julian to a crispy edge.
Yeah, what like on like when you cook the brisket, dude.
Yeah.
Crispy edges,
Oh, yeah.
dude. There's
Yeah,
nothing
you
I
got
like
your
better.
you got your proteins on lockout with...
And that's just all. It's all heat,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why... Yeah, cooking is heat.
right? But
Cooking
like,
isn't ceviche.
it's
Cooking isn't a charcuterie plate.
no, but it's not only heat, right? Like I don't even know my spices. If I were to taste something and be like, oh, I wish it had this flavor to it, I wouldn't have the slightest idea what to put into it to make it taste like that. And I think that like our friend Greg Greg is a real cook. Like
Yeah.
Greg is a real, actual good, like legitimate, could do it as a career cook.
Totally.
He would be able to taste something and go, oh, you should add this. Add a little bit of like paprika or
Paprika.
cumin or like, oh, maybe some sesame seed dust, like whatever it is. And you add that and you go, oh my God, I don't have the slightest knowledge of that. And I don't know how you get that knowledge. What do you do? Just like go to the spice rack and just start dipping?
It's just by assembling the food, I think. Like the more you do it, the repetition, you learn the recipe of it. You know, it's like people don't realize how much sugars and shit until they make a cake.
Yeah.
You like eat a cookie and you're just like, oh my God, 2 cups of sugars went into this shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's so much sugar in everything. There's like sugar in laundry detergent.
Taz was trying to help me make like a taco seasoning for that burrito I made you the other day. And I just pulled out like garlic salt and like the steak seasoning and like
Milk
all
of
this,
magnesia.
Yeah. X-Lax and
Vitamin B.
Xanax.
I'll take a Xanax.
Zinc.
I thought I felt loopy after that
That
bobo.
actually, Xanax burrito drive-through.
Yeah, that'd be nice, dude.
Dude.
And she was just like, well, you'll definitely need cumin. And I was just like, what is cumin? And I tasted it and I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is like such a base for what a taco seasoning would
Totally.
be.
Yeah. Totally.
And I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know.
The only spice that I know is nutmeg because I used to put it on eggnog during Christmas. Like, that's it.
Nutmeg
But you can't put nutmeg on anything else.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like I said, I don't know any nutmeg.
I'm sure it goes on so many nice things.
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up. I mean, is it sweet? It's not sweet. It's a spice, obviously, but like, I feel like you'd have to put it on like only desserts.
It feels very desserty to me.
Mm-hmm.
Roasted cauliflower, you could use some nutmeg.
What do you use savory nutmeg with?
Mashed cauliflower with nutmeg cake. Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I think it probably lands more typically on the
Kind of
sweet,
like the cinnamon.
yeah, like a cinnamon thing. But Taz makes this
The bolognese.
and puts cinnamon in it.
Yeah.
Like a cinnamon stick, not like cinnamon powder, like a cinnamon stick.
yeah.
Dude, it is like the best bowl. I think it's, I don't know if she
favorite
learned
meal?
it from Jenny, her mom. Shout out to Jenny, my mother-in-law. Shout out.
out.
I can't wait to be at Jenny's house. And
You're
just
going to be there
eat
when
her-
the time
Fall
is out.
asleep on the couch.
Oh, just eat her dumplings constantly and just be like,
Dude.
hey, Jenny, will you watch Rudy? I'm trying to not
Eat.
do anything. And her mom is just like an epic cook. But yeah, she uses cinnamon in it. It was like the first time I ever tasted it, I was like, this is special. This is a special thing that I've
Yeah.
never tasted before in my life. Very, very tasty. You know, maybe a lot of people do that with their bolognese, but I had never tasted. I mean, my mom's a great cook growing up. She would cook, like every meal we would have a proper cooked dinner. And her bolognese or spaghetti was always very good. She would do a fettuccine Alfredo from scratch that was really banging. Except she would put cooked broccoli in it.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't like cooked broccoli. That's like my one veggie that, I mean, I can stomach it now. I can stomach anything now. My palate has grown. But I remember as a kid, my mom would do some like steamed broccoli, and I'd have to do the like plug my nose to get it down because I couldn't leave the table unless I ate it.
Yeah.
And even then, I would be like,
Steamed
Yeah.
broccoli is disgusting.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I had. My mom used to give us like a big ass scoop of mayonnaise to like dip our steamed broccoli in when we were kids. Did you guys have that?
No wonder your mouth sucks.
Dude, all the meals I grew up with were pretty low.
mayonnaise is pretty typical of a dipping sauce for most of the rest of the world. Like fries, everywhere else you go, they give you mayonnaise to dip it in.
They just put some lemon and garlic in
broccoli.
it.
I mean,
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
about it
yeah.
now, it just sounds disgusting. My dad used to ground us for minutes. So he'd be like, muchacho, go up to your bedroom for 3 minutes. We'd get in trouble. So I'd try to get in trouble at the table while I had all of my broccoli in my
yeah.
mouth. So I'd go
yeah.
up and just spit it out. It was awful, man. But I love broccoli now. It's probably one of my favorite vegetables.
I
How do you eat it?
chard.
Yeah, chard's really great.
Chard's nice. I usually make like this salad back in New York. That's I've had it at your house too. I just don't cook very much when
It's like a steak salad.
It's like a steak salad, but I like saute, I guess is the word, just like in butter and minced garlic, broccoli and asparagus, and like cherry tomatoes, and I just throw that in the steak salad and just like, yeah.
That's kind of like your
it.
garnish on top of the arugula, sort of like that's what you mix in with the arugula. That's what's interesting about steaming and like a really good cook. This was coming back to Diwali. Nothing was over flavored. Like nothing was over sauced and over flavored, which is another really interesting part of cooking, is like not overdoing it, right? Like I love the taste of butter and I love the taste of minced garlic, but if you add minced garlic butter to broccoli and asparagus and there's too much sauce, then when you add everything together, you just get like a mushy. It's like chud, you know, like
Chud.
like cow chutney. And not over saucing stuff, not using too much, like using just enough and getting those levels. I was so blown away by Diwali because everything, it wasn't too spicy. It was just a hint of the flavor. And it was almost like your taste buds did the rest of the work. It was like making your taste buds work just enough to go, wow, that's one of the greatest tastes I've ever had in my life.
It really was that for you, huh?
Yeah, dude, that's like some of the best Asian food I've ever had in my life.
Great restaurant.
The dumplings there were like, oh my God.
Taz is drinking the sauce.
Yeah, Taz, I've never seen Taz drink sauce before in my life, dude. She's drinking the sauce like a friggin' lap cat.
It was a very good meal.
It was so good.
Lap cat.
It was it was incredible. I was blown away. And that's another, like, the things that excite me in life are those little intricacies that you can get into and just go so deep. Whether it's photography or video or cooking or hiking or cars. I've never gotten into cars, but that's like a whole world of knowledge and useful direction for your mind to just work itself. I'm excited to find what those next things are because I like to be endlessly curious.
The perfect earplugs because you just bought your 2-year-old a drum kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we got the shout out to Questlove. Come on the show, Quest. We got views, son. The pocket kit. The Questlove and Ludwig make a kid's drum set called the pocket kit. It's so funny, Steve, because as I'm setting up the drum kit, I'm like, oh yeah, I've never set one of these up before. Like from scratch, you know?
I was like, it's going to take me 30 minutes. A day and a half later, you're just like, oh shit. Dude.
I had to like go online and find the online manual to set it up. I was like, I've never set a drum. I mean, like, I've set a drum set up that was already like pretty much assembled, right?
Yeah.
But not one that's just like in a box that was shipped over from Indonesia, you know. And
I've set up more drum kits than Rudy's days of life.
Yeah. You've set up a whole heap of drum sets. Probably that green one that's in the studio over there. You've set that thing up more than the person who drummed on it for fucking 10 years.
God damn. That's crazy. Is it a fun thing to do, or is it just like awful? I don't know. You're talking about cooking. You're talking about doing things. You're talking about like getting into stuff. Like there might be some therapeutic.
Well, I think there's probably. I would imagine
setting up a drum kit.
And I'm speaking first, Steve, because I want you to speak more into this. But whenever we're on the road, the stage is Steve's like art.
Exactly.
Right. So like how it looks and how good it looks, you can take pride in that, and which you do, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be doing it for 10 years if I didn't.
Yeah. Tight lines, baby. Tight
lines, baby.
What are lines?
Cables. Like you don't.
How many cables go on a stage for a concert?
Too many to count.
Like I guess I'm just like, what kind of cables need to go on a stage? You guys are just playing instruments.
From mics to amps to everything. Yeah.
So
Cables,
everything
lights,
that has
everything.
a mic has
lights too. I mean,
has a cable, and then the lights.
Yeah.
And you want to keep those lines tight so people aren't tripping all over the spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like every night is you're pulling. The stage is empty by the time you get off of it.
Yeah.
And you have you got a monitor board off to the right that everything's run. It's such a complicated. That was kind of like when I was able to get to a place where somebody else could take care of all of that stuff. That was like, yeah, this is so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing the job that I don't want to do, because that's what the crew does. The crew does all the shit that nobody sees and nobody really notices, right? Like
Thankless.
It's one of those jobs. We were talking about this when we were shooting all the Valentines and the Christmas stuff and just these projects we've been working on. We're like, yeah, it's interesting because nobody notices when it's good.
Right.
Right, like if everything goes off well and perfect, you don't notice the audio. You don't notice the color correction.
Transitions.
It's just a fluid story.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, pretty much anything, right? But as well as like a live show. You go into a live show and it's just like everything looks the way it should, and it's a good production. And as long as nothing goes wrong, you don't think of it, and that's when you've had a good night, is when everything is seamless, right? But then these people, the human beings who like are up way earlier than me and asleep way later than me, are the ones who make all that magic happen, and then I get to stand in the front and like put my name on the marquee. It's like kind of twisted.
Well, it's a good reminder to thank your people. Thank you, Steve.
I do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Alan. You set up a lot of this stuff in here too.
Well,
So-
yeah. I mean, we're a small naked crew now because of the cocoa. But when I'm on the road, I do my best every night. I think I've done it for at least the last 5 years to thank everybody on my crew and in the band by name from stage.
You should probably buy him some crispy edges finger food,
Dude,
No, he does. Al takes care of us.
Yeah.
I try to. I just try to make everybody feel appreciated.
Yeah, that's why you have the same people keep coming out with you, bud.
That's good. I can't wait to get back on it.
It's gonna be crazy.
Me either.
Yeah. You guys feeling eager to like be back on tour?
I have because of the break, I have a newfound appreciation for touring for sure.
You think you're gonna fall right back into the same?
I think that I'll definitely
Headspace?
do things differently. I'm not, because of my capabilities off the road now, I won't feel like a lot of the times I was going and taking tours that like were just to fill time, kind of too, right? Because you're like, I'm not really making much money on this. Everybody's working, right? Like there is this treadmill effect that you can fall into with touring, because like if I take a break, like too long of break, then everybody else on my squad, like they can't just wait around. They got to go find other work, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a chance that I lose this really well-oiled machine that I've worked for 10 years to get going. So that's always the fear. But I think during this pandemic, what I've learned and what I've hopefully set the foundation for is being able to maintain people's attention when I'm not on the road, so that builds the ability to go back out on the road and play. But I think, I don't know. I mean, you can't predict the future. I don't know if we'll fall back into that same, like, 5 years from now, just burnt out and been like traveling way too much. And, I think there's always a sense, probably regardless, where you get to a stage or a time in a tour where you're just like exhausted. I think that's just a natural thing of like a natural aspect of the road. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Totally. Like anything.
It's just like anything. You're just going to get to a point where you're like, God, how many shows we got left? Where are we at?
Long days and travel. I mean, that's the thing, people don't think about either. We're in different climates, different,
time zones.
Just every other day.
Yeah, and some venues are incredible and other venues don't have the capacity yet to be incredible, right? And, I'm not at a stage in my career where I'm playing all the best venues, right? There's like the 930 Club in DC.
Blessings.
And then I'm not even going to name the
Don't name
the other venues, but there's venues that literally could give two shits about. And now, granted, they may not be making money. Sure, I don't know their financial situation, so that's why I would never call them out and be like, this venue here is. But the disparity.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Disparity is fine. Yeah.
Disparity between level, like venue level, is gigantic.
Totally.
At the size of touring that I do, and so sometimes you're like, you got the best day ever. You got a hot shower, like somebody thought to clean the shower after fucking whatever metal band was in there the night before, just like taking shits in the shower. And it's actually interesting though, because like I'm trying to think, you can't generalize any
No.
music, but
No, those metalheads definitely shit in the shower.
well, no, I'm just it's kind the road can be difficult at times because of the nature of the beast, but I will have a deeper sense of appreciation for the road, I think, after this break.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I was under the impression that you were hoping to like figure out a way to not be on the road nearly as much as you have been.
I am. This is what this is.
Well, this is by necessity because you can't be on the road.
This isn't necessity. Because this isn't making money.
Well,
this is because I love doing this, and I want to pave a lane that allows me to not have to be on the road so much. That's what this is for. That's what Live at the Lodge is for. That's what all the productions we've been doing is for. Is like, I want to be able to choose to go on the road when I want to go on the road. I'm never going to not go on the road. I love playing in front of real human beings.
Yeah.
I love being out with my tour family. I just don't want to have to go out for 11 months a year because I can't make a living anywhere else otherwise. And this pandemic has allowed me the time and the space and the freedom to figure out what that is and take as many swings at the plate as I possibly can to try and figure out like where my base hit is.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm excited for you guys for when it comes back.
Be fun to get out and just play live music again.
I wonder.
You're coming out as the hype man, Julian.
Come on, son.
Dude, I'm always the hype man, baby. What's happening? You guys ready for some Alan Stone? I said, are you guys ready for some Alan Stone? What I said. Just getting crazy, dude. I'm trying to go nuts.
Should have done a fourth one.
I said. Just do it till it's like not funny, and then one last time to bring it home. Yeah, that would. It's gonna be cool. I wonder what when it'll just be okay to actually do the same size shows that you have been used to doing.
Yeah, I have so many differing opinions on, because at one side of my perspective is connected to how I felt when this first pandemic started, which was, we'll be back in 4 months. We'll be back rolling in 4 months. Obviously, totally wrong. My prediction was way off. And I think that most people's prediction was that didn't have any understanding of pandemics.
Yeah.
And then, a year later, my thought is, like, I have a little inkling and a prediction that will be totally out of the woods. Maybe not totally out of the woods, because I think this virus is just going to be around forever, right? It's around. But we'll be out of the woods for the restrictions upon our activities by like May or June.
But even for live music,
Yeah. I mean, I think that once everybody who's at risk gets vaccinated and all of the death count goes like way down, we'll forget about the infection rate. The reason why we're worried right now, in my personal opinion, is because the death rate is like rising with the number count, obviously, because people are dying from the coronavirus. But if everybody who's at risk, which is, 85 and older, is preconditioned, if they get vaccinated, then it would seem to me to make sense that the death count would plummet.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we still have a lot of cases happening. It's not like there's no cases happening, but it is rapidly declining.
yeah.
And even with the opening of businesses, like we're now in phase 2, I think, in Washington, and I mean Texas is fully open. Like Florida never closed. Idaho's fully open. I think the thought was, cases are going to start going back up, and they've continued to fall. And so once we're out of the flu season and out of the time of year where people contract these types of diseases, I think that people will be like, well, try it. Let's go have a strawberry lemonade.
You won't go on tour though right away, even if it does open up, because you don't have anything booked out.
No, I have something in the works for the end of this year.
Yeah.
That'll be just like smaller rooms, me and a guitar, like an acoustic run kind of. And I think that will be possible to pull off because the rooms are the size where you could have film, and my overhead is going to be small enough that I'll still be able to go out and like make a living. I don't know. The tough part about like full band tours is that it takes so much money to get them started.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes so much capital for me to get everybody somewhere, to get them rehearsed, to get all the gear, to rent all the bus and the trailer and everything. It's like at least like a $50,000-$60,000 bill just to start it before you even play your first gig. And like, I don't got that kind of money anymore to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope that happens soon. I hope that we can go out and do some full band stuff soon. But I think it'll probably be privates and like one-offs at first to try and get the ball rolling again, and also test the waters, right? Because you don't want to like book something.
Mm-hmm.
I think promoters are really. I can't imagine what promoters are feeling right now. Going through this, I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah.
Who do we contact? Do they know?
Yeah. Well, maybe they found a new career path for themselves.
Which is just predicting pandemics?
Just overall.
Just like
completely different
something
thing.
else, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people who have lost their jobs have done that. Hopefully. I'm sure there's a lot of people, man. Like there's some people that just haven't done anything. Just like this pandemic happened, they lost their job, and they're just like, well, I guess good thing we got Netflix.
Yeah.
Let's just sit and watch. And that seems crazy to me. The people have been like stuck at home and actually haven't left home, like out of their bedroom even. That would be a wild life. Can't imagine that being mine.
It'd be to stay indoors for an entire year would be. I couldn't stomach it. But hey, I'm not everybody. I just can't sit still. I mean, that's why like when this pandemic hit, I was next day up in this attic loading in gear. Like we're gonna figure out something up here.
Yeah.
Not because of necessity. I mean, like I said, like I haven't really made any money during this pandemic except these like little digital one-off festivals, right? That like, hey, we want you to send in a video for this. But I just can't sit still. I just can't like.
Well, I know.
That's like hell to me, is not having a project. So.
Couldn't imagine. I mean, I guess I can't imagine because I've done it. But like you on drugs, like cocaine or Ritalin or what's the other one? Adderall.
It's awful. You don't want to be around me.
No, I don't.
It's the worst, dude.
Seems great. I mean, again, I've been around you, partaking, but it's
Yeah, no more for old daddy boy.
yeah.
Those
You're done.
those upper drugs.
You're done for life. Yeah. What's the
I don't want to
point?
predict the future, but like they just don't.
Nope.
They don't work. Well for me.
2026. I'm going in on some kilos of coke.
I'm just trying to get some ketamine.
You guys have a favorite drug that you've taken in your life?
Alcohol. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, well, I don't think that alcohol is the greatest of the drugs, but it's definitely the one I do the most.
Yeah.
That and caffeine.
Yeah.
But I mean, probably the greatest drug experience I ever had in my life was MDMA.
Yeah.
With
Yeah, I
like
that
all
too.
of my favorite people, and we just sat around in a circle and complimented each other.
Yeah.
We had like a compliment circle. We just went around and
Crying.
like, yeah, it was just like everybody would say like next person.
It was beautiful.
It was so cool. It was like
It was the
it was like
best.
3 hours long.
Yeah.
And then I've had some really great psychedelic experiences too, and some terrible ones. I've had
With
some,
me.
Yeah, but my worst.
That sucks, man. I wish that was a good time for you.
It was a good time in hindsight, right?
No,
like,
well, dude, I remember looking at your face and you were just like,
yeah, I was freaking out.
I know. I was only trying to like make. I don't know. It was such a weird experience for me to be like fine, but like trying to take care of you at this, but not like you didn't need to be taken care of. You were just like,
No, I was trying to
so
think
far
my
into your
way
own.
out of it because I was concerned about the person who was in our orbit
Yeah.
that wasn't on it, who
Yeah.
wasn't partaking with us. So I was trying to outsmart the acid, which is impossible.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
It's just not going to happen. And so by doing that and trying to be like, I'm totally fine, I just freaked myself out. Whereas like if you just like the other times where I've only done acid maybe 3 times, and the other 2 times I did it, it was brilliant.
So good, yeah.
It was like so much fun.
That's my favorite.
yeah, that's your favorite one to do, Stevie boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I just wish so badly that like our freaking culture and society and country would get their act together so that we can regulate these drugs and we can readily access them whilst they're regulated and good quality. Like what has happened with marijuana in Washington State is so great. Like Steve, you don't smoke, but I'm sure you've been into a dispensary.
Oh, they're incredible.
It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And like the science just in the last 3 years that has happened because this drug is open to study, and people who make their living off of studying these substances aren't afraid of some asshole breaking into their establishment and telling them that they don't have the freedom and right to like put things in their body.
yeah.
Think if that would happen with mushrooms and MDMA and other like mind altering, psyche altering drugs.
How much more would you do them though?
None more.
Yeah, probably not.
Like acid and mushrooms specifically, they're not the type of drugs that like you're gonna abuse. Well, I mean, there are people. Listen, here's the situation though. Yes, there are gonna be people who abuse these things. Like there's people who abuse automobiles, gasoline, people who huff paint. Like the laws and restrictions that we have in place should not be done so because if you don't have them in place, then just like people are going to abuse it. It's like, yeah, people are going to abuse anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the what's happening with the illegality of substances is we've created a black market for it. And that black market now is thriving and it's unregulated. And that's why you get the reason why we have a heroin epidemic in this country is because of tainted heroin. Is because people can't access safe opioids to hopefully counteract their addiction to it. Instead, they get street drugs that are laced with Chinese fentanyl and they die. And if it was legal and regulated, you would see a gigantic decrease in crime. like we did in the Prohibition days. But now we've created a drug empire in Mexico because we've...
Well, maybe you should run for Congress, Alan.
I just did. Folks, I'm going to stare. Give me the
anybody
tights.
voting for him?
Would anybody shut up?
Is anybody out there?
It's a strong point. And there's some really, I think, powerful minds and influencers.
I mean, a lot of the opiate addiction is actually because people were prescribed it and it's highly addictive versus shrooms and acid.
Right.
Right. I mean, opioids, yes, there is like a higher chance that you're going to become like there's drugs that you can become physically addicted to, and then there's drugs that you can just like mentally be forming habits with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I know there's people who microdose mushrooms, and you could call that a relative level of like addiction, right? Because they do it all the time. But I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Like, I don't think that just because you partake in opioid, you will become addicted to it naturally. I think that
You run the risk.
you can run the risk for sure to become physically addicted to an opioid. Yes, more frequently, for sure. Like those specific drugs have physical addictive qualities to them, and you can become physically dependent on them. But I just don't think I don't think outlawing something that doesn't cause physical harm. Like, obviously murder, rape, kidnapping, stealing should be outlawed, right? Because those hurt other people's, and in order to live in a functional society, you have to make these ground laws. But to outlaw a drug, it doesn't get rid of the drug. All it does is just like make the people who are criminals have the power to manufacture and sell these drugs. It's not going to change people's desire for these drugs. It's usually makes the desire stronger. It's just it's a absurdly stupid way.
I mean, it's like with medication. I think a lot of the reason those things are illegal is because the government knows people can make them at home, and the government can't regulate it enough to be like why weed was illegal for so long is that they didn't have the infrastructure. And we're like, well, if we don't make $1 off of it, we're going to make it illegal.
I think, yes, a little bit, but I also think that...
no one at home is making Xanax.
I think that there's a lot of pressure from pharmaceuticals, where if pharmaceutical companies can't synthesize a specific... Like, to synthesize mushrooms, I don't know if that's even possible. Synthesizing something allows mass production of it by a pharmaceutical company. And then if there is some sort of reasonable usage for medicine, then a pharmaceutical company can take that angle and make trillions of dollars on it, as they have with opioids. The thing about drugs, though, is that, like, especially in our country, in order to get weed legal, it was like, well, there's medicinal use. There's medicinal use for just cataracts and sleep. And it's like, wait, why do we have to like make a medicinal reason behind just having the freedom to do with our bodies what we want? Like, if I want to go smoke a joint, why does some asshole in Washington, D.C. get to tell me that I can't do that? Like, I think that is the basis of the argument. It's like, no other human being should have the right to tell me what I want to do with my body as long as I am not hurting anyone else. Like, we're all adults. Mm-hmm. If I want to drink myself into oblivion, I have that right in America. If I want to smoke 6 packs of cigarettes a day, I have that right in America. If I want to go ride a motorbike on the freeway, I have that right. We do dangerous shit all the time in this country.
Well, you might be endangering other people by...
Right, that's the fine line. You have to like make that fine line, which is like, are you endangering other people?
Right.
But if you're not endangering other people, then I don't think any man should have the right to tell another what they can put in their body to alter their outlook. It's
Yeah.
like, and don't get me wrong, it's like there will be like a lot of people's lives and families have been affected negatively by drugs, and my heart is heavy for those situations. But I don't think that just opening it up to criminals to dictate what those people are going to put in their bodies is doing us any good.
Yeah. I have a guy I want to get on the podcast. Danielle introduced me to this really powerful guy she went to college with. Was like an all-star football player on his way to like going to the pros and being drafted. And he injured himself while playing and was prescribed pain medication, and literally like I listened to a podcast and met him and had some conversations with him. Such a cool dude, man. And he like talks about how within 6 weeks of being prescribed this medication, he had like become a full blown junkie, and like just his whole life had changed. He like quit football. He was like on the streets and just going down a really, really dark path. And it resulted in just like the loss of almost his life. And now he's recovered from all of that and goes around and like talks to colleges and to young football players and to just like everybody that's willing to listen about his experience with it all. And so he has such a cool point of view from, you know, being somebody who was like actively trying to stay as healthy as he could, who like had a lot of willpower, and then kind of just got into something that was helping him feel better to allow him to continue playing, and then it completely stripped his identity away from him.
Yeah. That's a tragic story that seems to happen all the time. It's I don't think it's a cut and
Brian
dry.
Murphy. Shout out Brian Murphy.
Shout out to Brian. I think getting addicted, you have to be careful with like the things you ingest, right? Just like you have to be careful with how much complex carbs you eat. Just like you need to be careful with how much water you drink, right? We have to be careful with what it is we put in our bodies, for sure. Like functioning adults need to do that. But I don't think any human being in their right mind could stand up and tell me that the drug war has done anything positive for the world around us. The war on drugs has done nothing but create an underbelly of black market that, like, do you guys follow what's happening in Mexico much at all?
Not really.
I dip my feet in it every so often. Like Vice will have a really good highlight about what is happening down there. But there's specific parts of Mexico that drug cartels have their own country, have their own military. It's like a no-fly zone. And it's because of drugs in our country being illegal. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why they have the power to do so, and why you saw back during Prohibition, gangsters like Al Capone and Italian mobs gaining so much power and influence was because of the underbelly of cash that's being funneled to those organizations because of things being illegal and not regulated by our government.
Right.
It doesn't change the fact that those stories are sad when you hear about people who've become addicted to these drugs. There will be people who become addicted to the drugs if they were legal. It'll happen.
Yeah, and it definitely like just continues to keep marginalized communities marginalized and keeping.
I don't think it would be as bad.
Yeah,
because if it's regulated, that means tax dollars can go towards addicts' recovery. That means there'll be businesses opened that are more readily available to impoverished communities that have problems with these drugs, and they'll be checked. There's going to be regulations that are like, okay, this is a clean drug. This is a clean opiate. versus all of the heroin snuck into our country is coming up through Mexico and over from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And nobody's regulating it. So you get tainted, seemingly, what I'm hearing, is that you're getting tainted drugs, and that's why people are overdosing so frequently, is because they can't, they get hooked through Oxycontin because they were prescribed it back in the early 2000s. They can't get Oxycontin anymore because we've put our foot down in this country for prescribing it, and now they're like looking for street drugs. And the street drugs are laced with Chinese fentanyl.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Alan's new side hustle is taking down the DEA.
I'm not taking down the DEA.
It's the next project.
It's just interesting to think about.
Yeah, totally. No,
It's interesting to think about because it's like it's so, especially when living in Washington and seeing like, I'm interested to see what happens in Oregon because Oregon just legalized all drugs. All drugs. All drugs. If you are caught in Oregon with any controlled substance, you're I don't
Obviously,
know.
like,
I think it's up to a certain amount. Like,
right,
I don't think
if it's like with purpose to distribute, then you're gonna get.
Yeah. I'm not positive. What the like details of the law are, but you will no longer be thrown in prison for heroin, cocaine, mushrooms, acid, like all.
What does a cop say when they pull you over and you got just like a bag of heroin on you? Just like, hey man, like, it would be cool if you didn't do that.
Well, what would they say?
Can't do anything to you now, but
hold on, like that's I think that's the stigma that is kind of.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm just making a joke about it. I'm not saying like it's a bad thing that the cop will pull you over and like not do anything. I just hope that a cop would like. I'm just wondering like what does a cop actually say now? You know, when like what is the situation that a cop gets into?
I think a cop would use his like human reason to go, does this person seem inebriated? And if they seem too inebriated to operate a motor vehicle, they would pull them over, pull them out, and give them a field sobriety test to see if they were able to operate a motor vehicle. But whatever this guy wants to put in his body is his own right.
For sure.
Is his own, like, that should be the right to the pursuit of happiness, right? Like, that's in the Declaration of Independence. No, sorry, the Civil Liberties Bill. What is that, Steve? Is that the
Constitution? What is it that says every human has the right to? I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
Every U.S. citizen has the right to the pursuit of happiness, liberty, and happiness, right? Or pursuit of. Fuck,
we sound like fucking idiots now. We just sat here talking about all this. Oh man, cut the podcast now. This episode's over. Alan's running for Congress, 2096. No, not even 2034, dude. Tintin's gonna be a grown man, dude.
I'm running for Bongress.
Bongress. Nice, dude.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Hope you're well. Stay safe out there and stay well, stay blessed, and stay tuned.
Let's go do some drugs.
Oh, boo-boo, did you just make it to the end of the video? Yes, you did. Do you want to see more videos just like this one? Do you?
Well, then head over to patreon.com/Live at the Lodge, where you can support the How Good's of this podcast, as well as the entire Live at the Lodge family.
Yep, you're going to get exclusive merch, personalized shout-out videos. Me and Jules, we're going to show up at your house and baptize your nephew, huh? Check it out, patreon.com/Live at the Lodge.